3 ways to help your distributor help you, coming up next. Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Ben Salisbury. Our consulting agency helps wineries and craft distilleries improve their sales strategy and sales process. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share it and don't forget to subscribe. Today I'm coming at you with 3 ways that you can help your wine and spirits distributor help you. But before I get to those 3 things, I want to spend just a little time kind of setting the context for this video. You know, the longer you've been in the wine and spirits game, the harder this concept is to grasp. Are you ready? Here it is. What distributors used to be able to do for their suppliers, they can no longer do. Why is that? Quite simply, there are just way too many suppliers and brands and way too few distributors. That sets up a new reality that if you fail to appreciate is going to leave you very, very frustrated. Now you're going to have to adjust to this new reality and, more importantly, completely let go of any notions that you have that you can somehow get your distributors to perform at a higher level. Let me be clear. The diminishing of distributors' capabilities over the last 5, 6, 8 years, it's not a matter of motivation or intention. So if you're trying to address the motivation or intention to get your distributors to act, you're going to set yourself up for failure. So if it's not a matter of motivation or attention, what is it? It's simply a function of being very overwhelmed. And it's up to you to figure it out. It's up to you to see what's going on. They're not going to come out and tell you, hey, we're overwhelmed. We just can't do what we used to do. That's never going to happen. So you need to stop the seriously flawed belief that somehow more training, more communication, more education, more accountability, more incentives, that this is somehow going to cause the distributors to improve their performance. So put away your stupid trackers, put them in the paper shredder where they belong. You know where I see the most evidence of this flawed thinking? When I look at a typical wine sales job ad, regardless of where you find it, winejobs.com or BevForce or whatever. But when I look at these ads and I look at the job description, I am astounded to see the way people think about what it's going to take to be successful with distributors. I can't believe this way of thinking is still alive, and very much alive it is. As I peruse the essential functions of a job for one of these wine sales jobs, I see bullet points that are so out of touch with reality, it's sickening. How could so many people be so wrong about something so obvious? Here's why. Because people are making the fatal assumption that what used to work still does. If you are been around the industry for a while, you remember the time when a great meeting with the distributor and spending time with the distributor, coming up with clever and creative incentives, those things used to work. So why are so many people still clinging to that? Because it doesn't work anymore if you haven't noticed. And for those of you who think it is working, you're in serious denial. So for those of you watching this video who are finally ready to accept the new reality and do something about it, consider this a nickel's worth of free advice, 3 things that you can do about it. Before we jump into the 3 ways that you can help your distributor help you, I want to talk just a little bit about what you can and should expect the distributor to do. I think it's wise to recalibrate your expectations to the lowest common denominator and then slowly, incrementally move up from there. Think about the most basic capabilities that you need your distributor to do. You cannot conduct business without these 4 elements, and here they are. 1, purchase pallets of your product and store it in their warehouse. 2, ship them to the accounts as ordered. 3, do it at the correct price. And 4, don't run out of stock. Even just those four basic things, there's a lot of ways that suppliers are not paying attention and helping the distributor do that. You've got to be actively involved in that too. But those are certainly the baseline of what you can and should expect the distributor to do for you. So those are the baseline expectations you should have of your distributors. Now, the next level would be to have their sales reps actively pursuing and building new distribution for you. That's the holy grail. That's what everyone wants. But here's where things start to go horribly wrong for most suppliers. This is not and should not happen without you doing your part. I've said this before, but unless your footprints are all over the marketplace, you've got no right to expect the distributors to do any of it. In fact, a good rule of thumb is that the best your distributor can do for you is to match your efforts. Now, let me pause to make an important point. If you are one of the countless supplier partners that feel it's the distributor's job to do these things, you simply must wake up and recognize that those days are long gone. It isn't a question necessarily of whether or not a distributor can sell your products, but will they sell your products? And whether or not they will or won't is completely up to you. You need to be the lead dog on the sled, not them. I think you're starting to get the idea. Once you've come to terms with the cold hard facts that you're going to be limited in what you can expect of the distributors, you can then get busy executing a newer, more modern approach to building distribution. And so without further ado, these are the three things that you can do. Number one, have a plan, a real plan, a realistic plan, a plan that is based on solid research of the market, competitive landscape, and the complexion of the market, meaning some markets are very chain driven, some more by independence. What does the on-premise landscape look like? The off-premise landscape? Where is all the business being done? Where are the key accounts? I got a news flash for you. If you think that's the distributor's job, you are sorely mistaken. Distributors will really work hard to help suppliers that have done all their homework, that come to the table with a plan, and more importantly, a realistic plan. And your plan needs to really take into account what's going on in the market. Your plan should take into account what other products are inside the distributor's book where you are. So I'm not going to go too deeply into this right now, but suffice it to say, you need to do your homework and lots of it. If you do, you're going to get a lot better response from your distributors. Number two, create your own list of target accounts. I would start with a profile of the ideal customer for your brand, both off-premise and on-premise, and then start researching accounts that fit the criteria. Use Google, Yelp, OpenTable. There's all kinds of great resources. Put in the time and the homework to research the best accounts. You need to adopt the mindset that less is more. Fish where the fish are. Not all accounts are equal. And most importantly, the 80-20 rule is real. I mean, let's face it, time, people, money, all of these sales resources are always going to be very limited. Therefore, you can't be everywhere. You can't call on everyone, nor should you. The results by volume approach is extremely foolish. You need to be a lot more selective in the use of your resources. That way you'll get a much greater return on the time invested. And if you're a supplier that's personally covering a large territory and you can only spend just so much time in each market, well, this becomes even more important for you to be disciplined in the use of your time and do your homework. And by the way, in case you haven't picked up on this yet, you don't just take this list of well-researched targets and hand it over to the distributor. That is not very wise at all. This list is for you so that when you're in the market, you can make the greatest impact. The third way that you can help your distributor help you is you take responsibility for generating demand for your brands, your products in the marketplace with both trade and consumers. Now, this one is surely at the top of the list of unfamiliar tactics for most suppliers of wine and spirits around the country. This is brand new. This is underutilized, but it's completely within your grasp. I could do a whole entire video on this section. In fact, if you have an interest in that, leave a comment below and say, I really want you to talk more about this idea of generating demand in the trade and consumers, because this is the future, everybody. This is something you're going to need to figure out, and don't leave it to your the leaders of your company and your marketing department to do this. If you're in charge of a geographic area in the US, you can get busy doing this right away today to control your own destiny. So how do you do this? How do you generate demand for your brands in both trade and consumers? Well, there's several powerful ways, but I recommend this 1-2 punch of Facebook lead ads, where you collect email addresses from the trade and consumers. You integrate it into an email marketing software. Now, we use Constant Contact. We love Constant Contact. We recommend it to all our clients. I'm going to put a link in the description where you can get a discount for getting started on Constant Contact if that's something you want to do. But anyway, you use these highly targeted Facebook lead ads to grow your email list. You have one set of ads and a list for the trade, and another set of ads and lists for the consumers. And then you use email marketing to sell your wares to people. Now, there is a big learning curve to this, no question about it. But if you want to have any hope of prospering in the current environment, where distributors are very overwhelmed, and the days of them just doing stuff for you because you wrote a great incentive or you had a great educational seminar, those days are so gone. If you want to take more control of your destiny, this is how you're going to do it. And here's the good news. It's really hard in our industry, in the 3-tier system, to latch on to things that are 100% completely within our control. And this, my friends, is one of them. I'm speaking the truth to you guys. Distributors help those who help themselves. I hope this video was useful and that you start paying attention and waking up to the reality and start using these 3 more modern ways of getting things done in the market. Look, there is no doubt that there's varying degrees of successful collaboration between suppliers and distributors. They run the gamut. I've seen them all. There are those who do an exceptional job, and distributors respect and admire them, and they go out of their way to help them. At the other end of the spectrum, there's those that just truly suck and are clueless and are living in the past and just don't have a clue. And then there's varying, degrees along that spectrum, just your average supplier. If I were you, I'd figure out, where are you on this spectrum? How much are you clinging to the past? And then resolve to move up the ladder one rung at a time towards being a modern supplier that truly understands what the distributors are up against, and that they're going to help the suppliers who help themselves. Help the distributor help you. That's your new mantra. I'll just say this in closing. There is a magical correlation between how hard you work in the market and how hard your distributor works for you. So go forth and leverage this truth. Thank you.